Well, good afternoon, my friends, and welcome to another heartbreaking but very important live episode of Jacob's Ladder. Thanks for coming by the well. I'm glad that you're all here. I am under the weather, and I normally wouldn't do a show because I just released a video last night. If you haven't seen it, you should go check it out. It's actually on my main page right now. And it's something that, well, it's going to be important in the coming days because faith is going to be the most important thing. I'm sure you've been paying attention to the news at least by now. I've talked about Hurricane Helene. I talked about it when it was coming. And usually when I have these big storms, I come on here and I'm very positive and I say, everybody, let's get together and let's pray the storm away. And I didn't do it that time. I didn't do it that time, not because I knew anything, but just because I've just been concerned about the weather for a while now. Put out a bunch of shows about the weather and about the coming flood, Noah's flood. We've talked about it, which is found in Genesis 7:11. This is something that is really bumming me out because I'm watching all of these videos and I'm seeing so many people are trapped. People are lost. I mean, there are so many people that are just, they can't even find them. People that are trying to save people are passing away. It's a horrible thing. And you don't know what to do. And you feel like a little far removed besides just seeing these things on, social media. But this can happen anywhere. And it's been happening everywhere. Right now, there's flooding, massive flooding going on all around the world. And they got another couple of storms coming in. Now, a lot of people want to, pull the whole, it's about the climate thing. I don't know. I'm not a meteorologist. I'm not somebody that is savvy in all of these things. But I feel like maybe there could be something else. I just got this vibe that maybe this is a much bigger problem than cow farts and, fossil fuel. But once again, I don't know. I'm not saying that any of it's a scam or a hoax. I'm not the kind of guy that's going to be here telling you, that you should recycle. I recycle, Our air is important. Our water is important. But right now, I mean, we're entire, not just towns wiped out, entire like cities wiped out. This is a devastating thing. The devastation, but I feel like the devastation has just begun. Scary. Because like I said before, I've been talking about it, okay? And I almost didn't even want to look at it. I really wanted to focus on all the other dog whistles going on, right? All the other goofy stuff, all the other things like this show that I just did about Russell Brand. Wanted to focus on that, as opposed to seeing all the heartbreak and everything else that I saw this morning. I hope that all of you are doing everything you can, to reach out to loved ones in these affected areas. If you know anybody there, praying for them, doing what you can. We got to get involved. But like I said before, what started this channel, for those that don't know, was a really terrible dream, like a cataclysmic dream that I had. About this incoming planetary system called the Nibiru system. Sounds nuts, right? I did this video in 2016 in April, and I didn't even want to talk about it. It wasn't like I was into any of this stuff. But the more I dug into it, the more I saw. It's like these events, these world-changing events, they're cyclical. They happen. The flood story's been told so many different ways, so many different times, through so many different faiths. It's got to be something to it, right? I had all Grandma Marie over. It was Sunday nights. We had Grandma Marie and David, her boyfriend. They're basically they're married. They're just not literally married. And, we were talking about this. And he said, is there any evidence that there was like a literal flood? I said, well, I think they got like seashells and stuff like that on mountains. There is evidence. There's evidence that the oceans once were deserts, that the deserts once were oceans. Wild stuff. But there's something bigger going on, and I don't think we're getting the whole story. And that's why I think I want you all to share this video around. Maybe we could start the conversation going, get some people. We've got a lot of people here already. You got to hit the like right now. Just exit out of chat and hit the like so that we can get even more people here, because this is apocalyptic. The stuff that happened and is still ongoing is apocalyptic. Asheville is the name of the place that is basically just battling the aftermath of the storm like never before. This deadly flooding, landslides, mountain slides. Have you seen the videos? Have you seen this? It's out of control. But as I said before, I had a feeling, and if you look to the left-hand corner of the screen, you'll see I did 2 videos, one after the other, just recently. One of them I did on my birthday, right? Like I said, judgment is coming, 7-11 from heaven, okay? And if you see very clearly, Genesis 7:11, the flood is coming. 17, all where you go, right? Freaked me out a little bit that video that I did on my birthday about this thing that we're facing today was exactly 107 days ago. There's 17 again. Now, what we know about Helene, okay, and the fact that I'm bringing up these videos that I did, kind of irks me a little bit. Because when I was doing those videos, I was saying it's going to get really bad. You probably remember this. Who remembers me talking about Fudgy the Whale? Raise your hand. Let me see in the live chat. Fudgy the Whale, the story of Jonah, because we had all the eclipse. And the eclipse on the second hand hit like things that were connected to the story of Jonah, like 8 times. It hit like Jonah this, it hit, it was, and Fudgy the Whale just kind of appeared everywhere because I said I wanted Fudgy the Whale for my birthday. Remember? I did this video on my birthday, Judgment 7:11 from heaven. Okay, 107 days from before Helene hit the ground. And hit the ground it did. Category 4. It was horrible. The wind speeds, the nonstop, relentless amount of water that was released in the amount of time was something. But I was saying that I felt like, perhaps even though it may get really, really bad, because I do believe there is some kind of a system. I mean, I've never shied away from that. When I talk about something that I didn't know anything about, and then the channel takes off and goes viral because of it, I take notice. I'm like, okay, Lord, there's probably something to this. When I look at these world events, I think to myself, this is what they say will happen in Scripture. It's in the end days. I mean, are we not in the end days? Have you ever experienced a time in your life where things are as weird and as heartbreaking and as exciting and encouraging in the same breath? It's like we have this choice. I'm going to talk about 2 numbers on the show. It's going to sound a little woo-woo to you, okay? The numbers are 13 and 17. We've talked about this because, during that eclipse, we had these 2 sets of cicadas that emerged, and they were 2 different sets, 13, 17. And not that I'm into tarot, but on the channel, if you're new, we've talked about how the numbers 13 many times represents like kind of the end of an old and the beginning of a new, a death, and then 17 represents a rebirth. The end of the old, the beginning of the new. It's like a great reset. Okay? It's like a great reset. So we've been talking about this. So when I find numbers that coincide to this, and you see in the video right there, you see the flood is coming. Judgment 7:11 from heaven, 107 days. And then there's this apocalyptic flooding. The 88 deaths, it's already grown. I think it's well over 100 by the time I put this show together. It made landfall Thursday night in Florida's Big Bend region, okay, in a Category 5. The storm was expected to dissipate. And, but I mean, like right now we have like more than millions of people are already out of power. People can't get the food. People can't get the water. They can't get clean water. Hospitals can't get their stuff. This is a devastating thing that happened to them. It's like Hurricane Sandy. It's like what happened in New Orleans. It's what happened here in some parts of Long Island. It's very strange and very sad to me that this is something that I felt, we needed to talk about. I didn't want to look into it because I didn't want to do one of those videos again where I come on here and I'm like, okay, everybody, remember I said, remember this video? Oh, look at the times. Who wants to do that on something like this? I just feel like maybe there is more to this story, and maybe we could be a little bit more prepared in our hearts for when these things happen. And we can look at life a little bit more like it's like a big video game, right? But God's got his hand on our lives so that we're going to be okay. Those people right now that are trapped in their homes, those people that are missing, pray God they're still alive. If you don't think that they're praying right now, you're wrong. They could have been the biggest atheists on the planet, but they are in that moment asking, I'm sorry, I haven't really paid attention to you for so long. This is something I've been saying on the channel for a long time. I'm saying get your house in order. I'm saying that if you do the right thing and if you're kind and everything else, it's going to be challenging, it's going to be terrifying, but it's going to be worth it. I've been saying this 107 days ago, okay? I do these 2 videos, and then take a wild guess. I stumble upon this video, 11/11, a warning ignored again. Trump and the coming flood of Noah. It's on the 13th, I put that out, October 13th. 13th, that's the death card. The end of the old, the beginning of something new. It's a reset. We're changing things. We got a lot of people here already. Please hit the like button. Let me see how many are you doing. I'm going to check. I'm going to check to see. It's like, less than, of course, a lot less than half, but that's okay. That's okay. I love all of you just the same. This right here was a little bit strange to me because in the background of this picture, you'll see that's a huge biolabs chemical fire that's going on right now. Strong chemical smell, something like 90,000 people are sheltering in place. Burnt hair. Do you remember the burnt hair shows that I did about all the chemical spills? Where I compared the burnt hair, the smell of chemicals, like smelling burnt hair. And we did these things, where we did these shows and we connected it to the burnt hair. Now here's weird. We have another major chemical fire that's going on. This biolab thing is up. Okay, this was like yesterday's news. Everybody hear this? Has everybody heard it? If you haven't heard it, I'm sure this is just more good news for you. Okay, so that's the smoke in the background. But take a look at the thumbnail. 11/11, it happens. Okay, 11/11. Do you know when Helene made landfall as a Category 4 in Florida's Big Bend region? At 11:10, everybody's saying. Man, those numbers, those 111, I don't like those numbers, right? That's almost like 11/11 it happens. I'm not saying, oh, look at that. But it gets me to think because I look at this about the coming flood of Noah and I look at all the things on that thumbnail and I start thinking, my goodness, there's Trump right next to Zelensky. I say, why did I put Trump next to Zelensky on that thumbnail? Why would I do something like that? And just what, yesterday or the day before? Just what's going on? Trump's with Zelensky. Take a wild guess how many days in between all this stuff happens. On October 13th, 2022, to the time that the storm hits, 1 year, 11 months, 13 days. 13, the death card again. 17 and 13. These numbers, I start to think to myself, there's got to be more to this story. There's got to be more. It can't just be cow farts and cow burps because there's a lot of other weird things happening, right? I'm not the only one that's noticed all of the other strange things like the auroras, the northern lights. Everybody see the northern lights? Who saw them? Have you ever seen them before? No, because we never had the northern lights down here in Long Island. We never had any of that stuff. And yet, one day after I did this little prayer. It's going to sound a little strange. I did this little prayer, and because there was this there were these 6 solar flares at the time. And these 6 solar flares at the time, everybody was saying, like everybody you could think of was saying, oh, that's it. It's going to wipe out the power grid. And I came on and I did this little prayer, And I told everybody, I said, oh, you know what? Maybe the Northern Lights will come instead, because I prayed about it. I prayed about it, and I'm jumping a little bit ahead. But here, let me just show this to you, because I'm going to go back to the storms. But on the 5th, I said, I had this dream, sky turning red, something going wrong with the atmosphere, right? And you'll see, I asked Grok, I said, Grok, what's more likely to make things go weird? Is it like an incoming solar system and solar activity, or, the climate? And Grok's like, no, it's very clearly that. It's very clearly the system and the solar activity. Maybe there are these other things that are coming, like maybe there's this other system moving in. Maybe, but we have the what's going on right now as something that we should be focusing on. We don't want to look out there yet. We're going to look out there in a second. I'm just teasing what's coming. But I want to look at Asheville, because that's what's in the news the most right now is Asheville. And what's so scary and what's so sad about Asheville is the fact that I see Asheville and I think to myself, didn't I do a video called Ashes, Ashes, They Will Fall Down? And I looked it up, and I did. And in that video, go figure, it's all about the climate clock that King Charles struck, turned on, about how long ago? 1 year, 3 months ago. That's the number 13 again. Morbid, I thought. Morbid. Asheville has been devastated. A morbid thought occurs to me. I did a video called Ashes, Ashes, They Will Fall Down. Exactly 1 year, 3 months ago today. 13 is the death card. It's just strange, because Asheville, they all fell down, I can't even imagine. I saw some people were trying to make fun of it, having their things with the canoes and everything else. But do you know how many people died because they were running their generators, sloshing around in the water? This is a horrible thing. This is a horrible, horrible thing that people are facing right now all over the world. And then you got war, you got other things that you're facing. And then you go on social media, and what do you got? You got everybody scaring you about, oh, well, this is going to be a problem, and this is going to be a problem. Well, let me tell you something. There are a lot of things. Species have been wiped out. Entire species, like faster than ever before. Animals are doing weird things like they've never done. Remember all those videos where all the animals were going around in circles? What the heck is that about? I did shows about that. We have news the Earth has wobbled. The Earth has been tilting. There's going to be like a switch, a flip, a polar pole shift is going. All of these things can't be just from cow farts or from gas or from fossil fuels. Maybe some of it has something to do with it, but I think that the people, if they really believed the stuff that they said, if they really believed it, maybe perhaps they wouldn't be flying around in their little private jets all over the place, right? If they really cared. They're really trying to make a difference. It's a sad thing. So I do this video, this morbid video. Let me just play this a clip of this, because the show's going to get weirder as we go, which is why I did this. All right, are you ready? Let me open this up. Let me make sure I don't blow your ear out. It's only a minute. And here we go. Said it before, the people that are in charge, they're lunatics. And they're lunatics. Do you know Prince Charles? King Charles, I should say. King Charles, he's a king now. He, with his big hands, he just pressed the lever on that climate button. They got like the climate button till 2030, and they're like, oh, we got till this amount of time before what are we gonna do? It's just like, come on, people. Whatever these people are doing, it's not working. Just making things worse. I feel like I'm living in bizarro world.
2, 1. King Charles helped turn on a climate clock at a summit in London this afternoon. It triggers 150 similar clocks across the major cities of the UK, counting down the seconds to 2030. The estimated deadline for limiting climate change to 1.5 degrees above pre-industrial levels.
But don't worry, because God's got a plan for it. If you think about it, that's very scary. Very scary. So you're telling me, Jacob, Asheville, the heartbreak, the devastation, Asheville. A year, 3 months earlier, you're doing a video called Ashes, Ashes, They Will Fall Down. Which means then King Charles is hitting a countdown clock, which is saying we got till 2030. Maybe they mean it. Like maybe they mean it. Like maybe like we got to get everybody riled up. Here's the thing. I've said this before on the show. Everybody wants democracy. Everybody wants a democratic republic and everything else. And everybody's like, well, who are you gonna vote for, Jacob? You have to do something. I'm like, I'm gonna be with the person that God chooses. You know, I'm beyond thinking that the stuff that I see is all legit, right? Like because we see there's so much corruption on all sides. So whoever's going to end up there, I'm thinking that there's something going on. The powers that be already know about it, that maybe all of this crazy stuff and all this crappy stuff, maybe it really could be because they're trying to minimize things. You don't hear anybody saying, oh, we got an incoming planetary system. And that's why the deers are walking around in circles, and that's why, species are being wiped off, and that's why, there's some crazy auroras happening. I think that if you got to vote on stuff when action needs to be taken, I think that could slow down the process. And I don't think that process is going to be helpful if we have emergencies like this happening all over the place. Do you? Is it possible that perhaps all of this stuff that we're witnessing, all this talk about dictators and all that, is it possible that that's already an established fact and that we're just going to have to come to terms with it? That maybe that this is the best course of action. You can't have a committee, right? You got to go. Once again, I'm not for a dictatorship. I'm not for a totalitarian regime. I don't want to be told that I can't live in my house, right? But they could do that. I'm for whatever God has planned. And I tell you what, I think I've had enough stuff happen in my life, enough things that pop up time and time again, where I'm sharing things and I'm saying, hey, look, it's coming. 1717, and then 107 days later, there's the flood. 1 year, 3 months later, there are the ashes. I'm beyond thinking that I really have a say in anything. I'm going to serve the Lord. I'm going to do the right thing with my life. I'm going to take care of my family. I'm going to make sure that we have provisions, and I'm going to do my best to get but I'm not going to be scared. And neither should you. Neither should you. But may I offer you a reason why, say, people like Elon Musk are given so much money. Why are they given so much money? Why are they given so much power? Why can he get away with saying the things that he's saying and not be investigated and not be called before Congress and all of that stuff? Why does he have so much? Why is he the most powerful person in the world? And it can't just be because he's super cool and his memes are awesome, right? And he's a forward-thinking guy. Maybe there's a reason he wants to get us off planet. I don't know the hearts of these people. But I got to tell you something. If there is something that they're not telling us, and we have stuff like this, you know who's coming to the rescue right now? Starlink. You know why? Well, because all the other stuff, if we have this massive flooding, if the Great Flood is here and it's going to rain, how long does it rain for? It doesn't rain just one. There's going to be storms all over the place that continue. He opens the floodgates. So I said, may I offer another reason for the crazy weather? Nibiru. Once again, this is just all speculation, people. The only thing you should take seriously is my faith in that you should get your house in order and not be scared. I do this video, okay? Back in 2016 called Nibiru Asteroids, Meteor Showers, and the Massive Storms on Their Way. That was the video that kind of started everything. I said, could it be Nibiru? Could this be the reason? Could this be the reason? You want to know why Elon Musk was allowed to cover the Earth with space lasers? Oh, and by the way, that video that I did, it was 8 years, 5 months ago. So that was 101 months. That's right, 11, baby. 7/11, June 11th, my birthday, Revelation 11:11, my favorite verse, where God breathes life into the witnesses, which you are. And if you want to support the channel, you know the way to do it, right? You know the way to do it. You go to the description of the video and you go down and you get yourself an I Am a Witness shirt. Could it be possible? Do you think that it's possible that perhaps that's the reason? Maybe they know something. I'm not saying they do. Maybe they do. Maybe there's something going on. Maybe that's why all of these space telescopes and everything else, maybe that's why they're always shutting down. Maybe that's why we got to worry about these. I just did a video a month ago, said defenseless, Neowise asteroid detector mysteriously shuts down. And then here we have Starlink being deployed to aid Hurricane Helene. Maybe there's something going on. Do you remember when all of those, like Arecibo and all of those big satellites and the ones that were like, Hubble was shut down, like everything was like shut down. The asteroid hunter Neowise gone. I forgot to load this, but this morning, for whatever reason, I was thinking about all of this stuff. And so I asked Grok, I said, Grok, what would happen if there was like, say, a coming, solar system, an incoming solar system? And he laid out this list. And I'll be darned if that's not what's happening and has been happening. Strange. Issues with the magnetosphere, with the thing that protects us. Issues with the poles. Issues with, flooding, massive flooding. Because you got to think about the pull on the water, We would also see a lot more weird little asteroids and visitors, like Oumuamua. Remember Oumuamua, the interstate traveler? The interstate. The first scout arriving from afar, that interstellar. We don't know what it is. Could be a craft or whatever coming in. And then we had another one. Do you know right now we have a little moon that's been captured in all of these things are attributed to not cow farts, not cow burps, not fossil fuels, but an incoming system. An incoming system. Now, Matt in live chat just said, Jacob has the script, not dreams. Okay. That's like a compliment. Thank you very much. Because that means that you've been watching for a while and then that beyond a reasonable doubt in your head, you think to yourself, there's no way this could happen. He says, Jacob, I must have the script. Take a look at my subscriber count. It hasn't risen in how long? I make less money working here doing this than I did selling mattresses. You know who's being shared? Not me. The Russell Brands of the world. The Tim Pools of the world. All of those, the prophets of Baal, Matt, that I called out. A while ago. I called out these prophets of Baal when everybody was talking smack about these solar storms. Here's the thing, the power of prayer, people, okay? I want to tell you something about the power of prayer because you got power. God doesn't, who inherits the earth? It's not the people that are like, they got the millions of subs. It's the meek, it's the humble, it's the gentle. It's the people that really want to do well. God gives me more than I need. That was the deal Jacob made back in the day. He says, as long as you take care of me and my family, I will serve you all the days of my life. That was it. It wasn't like, I'll serve you no matter what, Lord. It was like, just you want me to serve you? Take care of me and my family forever. And God did more than that. He says, I'm going to bless every one of the sands of the sea. It'll be that many. So many generations will be blessed because of you. Think about that with you. You don't got to have millions and millions and millions. But you know what they did? They were worried. They were like, because there were these 6 gigantic solar storms that never happened before. Alex Jones was on there. Everything was going to blow up. So you know what I did? I called him out. I'm going to play this for you. It's perfect timing that Matt actually brought that up. What a great segue. All right, so take a look at this. All right, and you'll see right there, it says, a real miracle. That time I challenged real Alex Jones, Tim Cass, Sunweather Mayor. Remember him, the SUP guy? As Elijah did the prophets of Baal to prove my God can call fire down from heaven while they were making everyone panic. I asked God to send northern lights to Long Island, and the next day God did it. Okay, so let's just take a listen to this. Let me, I'll raise this up. And you tell me if God isn't real.
Strongest solar storm to strike Earth since 2005 is on its way tonight. Because of that, NOAA did issue a geomagnetic storm watch.
Got to talk about the solar flare. I mean, we got 10 minutes before super chats, and we haven't even got into the fact the world's going to end tonight. And the world's going to end tonight. In fact, the world's going to end tonight.
The strongest solar storms. It's all part of a larger storm. It's like lightning strikes. The largest solar storm ever recorded on its way to Earth.
Today's trouble's not enough. Day in, day out, fear this, fear that, they shout, and whine, and lie, and pout, and still you have yet to figure it out. The liars and town criers cast your soul into the fire, but your liberation they are not about. So hearken instead to the words from the Lord's mouth.
Hello, my friends. How was that for a scary opener? The sun's gonna just destroy everything. It's gonna eat us up. This is what's been the news for like the last 48 hours. Everybody's so stressed out about these coronal mass ejections that come from the sun. You know what? You say everything's gonna blow up. I say there's gonna be northern lights for everybody. I did do this. This was before all the lights and everything else, of course. I don't know. I just see a lot of people are really miserable and they're scared and they're angry. And I see a lot of division. And so when I saw all this stuff with the solar flares, I said to myself, I got to come on here and do something. So I prayed about it and I got this vibe. I was like, oh, maybe I'll be able to see the northern lights. That would be nice. So I went and then I wrote this little poem. I said, this is my prayer in response to those who cry, beware, beware, 6 great solar flares. That lights will be a miracle to see. Northern lights come to me. Not a test, you see, but a proof to leave those with hate, fear, and deceit up their sleeve. Northern lights come to me. How cool is that? And guess what? I'm in Long Island. I've never seen the northern lights, never, until last night. I still didn't see them. I went to sleep and I fell asleep and that was the end of it. But I got tons of pictures in my neighborhood. The northern lights were out and about. It was like around 3 o'clock in the morning or so. Some pictures from like 3:30. It was amazing. People were amazed. That was my prayer. My prayer was not a test as I wrote. It was a proof. A proof. I felt like it was another one of those moments that I had where I said, let's see whose God calls down fire from heaven. And I just didn't want to see the world blow up. Did you? Did you? What could we do? How does it help anyone to get everybody to panic for a 12% chance that something can happen? What's the difference here? I think that this whole thing is really just poisoning people. And I think it's hurting people emotionally. I think there's trauma to it. And I got to tell you something. Listen, I believe and I have a lifetime of experience knowing that there is a God who loves us, who's in charge of all of this. There is a change taking place, my friends. I don't know if you noticed, but there were lights, the northern lights. They came to you. They came to me. You got to leave a comment. You got to let everybody know. That to me would be like I mean, it is a little weird that I'm calling him out like I'm some kind of big hip. I did the whole thing with the horn. I was trying to be silly. I was trying to be all, but it doesn't deny the fact that when everybody was saying the world's going to end and everybody so scared and everybody jumped online, I said, I'm sorry, it's going to be really cool. I did. I prayed. Ethan, is that you, bud? I'm live right now and I'll be out in a sec. You want to say hi to everybody? I'm talking about the Northern Lights. Say hi. Hey, Ethan,
hi. We're
about to go to the gym. So I got to hurry up. I looked at the time and, All right, this is Ethan, everybody. That's my hiccups. All right, start your homework. I'll be down in a sec. I love you. Get out of here. All right, go. All right. So, listen. I got distracted. I love when Ethan's home. But this is it, because this is the end of the show, and this is a good thing. How many people are going to do that, though? How many people are going to come on here and they're going to say to themselves, maybe I should just be an example that you don't got to listen to all the scary stuff. But that doesn't mean that you don't have to be having a little bit of healthy fear of what could be coming. A lot of weird stuff coming. And it just seems to be, it seems to be a little bit untenable, as my friend said, that the weather is going to become untenable. It's a big word. It makes me feel like a smart person when I say it. With the devastation of Helene, it's no wonder. It's no wonder. I mean, it seems like the flood has come. I think that there maybe is a little bit more. I do. I think that there's a little bit more. You got to tell me in a live chat or in the comments section if you're concerned. I'm a little concerned. I've been telling the Dan that I wanted to move up to like the mountains for a long time. It's not possible. It's not going to happen. I have to believe that if God wants me to be somewhere, that God will put me there. And I think you should too. I don't think you should be scared of these things and think to yourself that it's all going to, just fall apart at the seams. When really, we got more happening for us than you'd know. We do. Do you remember that time I said I had this weird dream? Let me see if I have. I can actually share this with you. Okay, I had this. That's not it. Come on over here. All right. Let me come over here. Okay, so I had this weird dream, and you'll see it on June 30th. They said the sky is acting weird tonight. Beautiful, but weird. That's because I had this other dream a couple of days earlier. Sky turning red, something going wrong with the atmosphere, meeting with wise, almost Jedi-like people. So you take the all of this stuff, and here we are, what? Just 5 days later or something like that? And then
PM. Currently 8:59 p.m. in Strong Island. And I believe that God has decided to put a sepia film.
How do I got the script, huh? How do I get the script that the sky's going to turn red?
For whatever reason, you may not be able to pick.
A lot of weird stuff going on, people. A lot of weird stuff going on. And if anything, I hope that these shows and these little connections and these little, I call them quinky dinky doos. Other channels would be like, the Lord told me. I get an idea, I get a feeling, I speculate, I look at stuff like Jesus said. You look at the, you look at the stuff that's going on in the world today. Remember everybody used to, when Trump said the dam is breaking, what do you think he meant? Do you know that when he said that, it's like a perfect amount of time to, dam literally broke with this storm? You look at this stuff, you speculate. God shows you ahead of time. All you got to do is open the door, right? All you got to do, open the door, ask for the truth. Try to see a little bit farther down the road. I'm telling you, you can. If you open yourself up to it, and then you don't got to worry so much. Do what you can to help out. I wanted to put a link up for, these storms. My go-to is always like the Red Cross. But a lot of people are like, oh, the Red Cross is corrupt. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to tell you where to go if you want to support and help the families affected by this, but I'd say look into it and check on people that in those areas. I have a feeling that we're going to hear about many more storms just like this. And I pray that you're all going to be okay with it. And when and if, I want you to remember these words, when and if you're in that situation, I want you to remember that I said, you're going to be okay. You're going to get out of this. It's just all something. Be smart. Don't be dumb. Don't run like the generator with a bunch of water in the house and walking around with your feet, not in like rubber galoshes or something that keeps you grounded. Be smart. Get yourself ready and have the best day ever. Do me a favor. Will you share the channel around? Will you share this video, please? I'm asking you nicely. Will you share it? Make sure that you like and leave a comment. Even if you've never done it before, will you leave me a comment today? Say, I've never left a comment, so that I can go back and then say, I thank you for that, because it helps. Share the channel around. And if you haven't seen the Russell Brand video, it's pretty funny. And it's on baptism and everything else. And in the day that we're in, you're going to want to know which way to go. And I'm going to tell you, you don't got to go to me. You don't got to go to any of them. You just got to go to God. You got to go to God. Let my challenge to the prophets of Baal, where I said, let's see who can get. I've done this before. I didn't do it just with, let's see. Let's see who's got answers first. I love my faith, and I hope that you have a faith that you love as well. I'll talk to you all